Alrighty, let's see. Where am I at? Am I live? Am I live? Should be live. Okay, it says I'm live. Cool. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stacey Storino. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the number one place for the more mature entrepreneur to go when they want to learn about content marketing that honestly can help them to drive more traffic to their business to do more business. There's no random acts of content marketing here. We're busy adults personally and professionally. We just ain't got the time. So if you've not subscribed to my channel yet, and any of this sounds attractive to you, where we're going to learn over the course of the next year, 2022, on my channel, a variety of ways to create content more intelligently, or if you have a small team, how to get them to do it or help you with it, how to optimize it, how to publish it properly. Sometimes we're doing that improperly in terms of frequency or technique. Optimization is so important because you want to leverage both discovery or search, and you also want to leverage suggested, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or TikTok or Instagram, right? And then we're also going to do a little bit of a discussion about, creating this omnipresent kind of presence so that no matter where your ideal customer might find you, they're going to find you everywhere. Over the course of the next year, this is a lot of that type of content that I'm going to cover. I've certainly covered it in previous years. I have a lot of evergreen content on my channel already, all neatly organized into playlists. And speaking of playlists, I made sure that I copied and pasted the playlist into which today's live stream / replay will go, because in January of 2022, every single day in January 2022, I'm going live most days around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, we'll post replays. And this is the 2022 Entrepreneur Business Reboot Advice Series. And so we have a playlist for that. So if you've not subscribed to my channel yet, please make sure you do. Click that bell notification, select all so that you can get notified when I go live daily, right? Daily. In January of 2022, at least. And then we definitely have, after that, I go live on this channel usually Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, when we go back down to once a week, starting maybe February. And then we'll have at least one pre-edited video that will come up every week as well on this channel. All right, so today we are going to talk about having a system in place if you feel super overwhelmed and you are like, I don't know how I'm going to pull off everything that I have to in my personal life, let alone my professional life, my entrepreneurial life. I'm a business coach. I've been a business coach for 8 going on 9 years, okay? So I'm not a more garden variety life coach. There's nothing wrong with those. There's definitely a place for them. But I am more like a business / content marketing coach. So what I'm going to talk to you today, you could certainly shoot it through like a personal lens only to benefit yourself. And or you could look at that and say, entrepreneur wise, this is what I need to do in order to get where I need to go. So I'm going to get into that teaching in a minute. I want to greet the students of mine that are here already. Really quickly, though, I have 2 free Facebook groups that I am going to free Facebook group, content marketing for conversions. That's one Facebook group, so I'll put that link in here. And then the other one for my students who know about the popularity plan, we have the popularity plan Facebook group. I was not looking to create yet another Facebook group for me to have to admin. But do you know what? My students who already have the popularity plan, it's quite a few of them. I've got thousands of students going through the years. They were like, can we please have a Facebook group for the popularity plan? So Facebook group, this is a free group too, for the popularity plan, for the brand. Thanks for that. There are tons of Facebook groups now. I know. I know. But See, so I hadn't created that. Popularity plan will be a year old. I think April, May. Goodness gracious. I was not looking to do another Facebook group, but so many people were like, please for that brand, because then we can like collaborate or, we'll look there for announcements too. Because, and for the popularity plan students, I will be releasing the February popularity plan next week. It's done. I just have to tweak some of the emails and the captions. So for those people who don't know, super, super quick, the popularity plan is something my students asked me for almost a year ago because I've been a coach and a course creator for going on 9 years. I have all sorts of big coaches, courses, mini courses, all sorts of things. And they're like, hey, Stacey, we love what you're teaching us about content marketing. That's great. But, I'm a solopreneur. I have a very small team and they're already booked to the teeth. Like, what can we do, especially in terms of the relationship marketing and the email marketing that might be more relationship marketing based? How are we going to do that to keep our brand-based community healthy and engaged with us? How are we going to do that if we're a solopreneur, if we have a very, very small team? So, they asked me I polled them, and we ended up deciding we were going to do something called the popularity plan. So every month, it's not a subscription service. I put out a pack that has 15 social media graphics that are kind of neutral. So no matter what you're branding, you should be able to use it. You want to edit it, go nuts. But also 15 corresponding social media captions that are templated, fill in the blanks, tweak the language, and go. Now you have, roughly half of your daily, monthly relationship marketing base covered. And then also in that same $37 pack, you get 4 emails that are templated, one assigned to every week for the following month. So I know I have a ton of students that wanted to hear about that. So it is definitely coming, and the Facebook group is there for those that love the brand. Okay. I know, Lenore, how many Facebook groups do you have? I get confused. So do I. I really didn't want to do another Facebook group, but I had so many students say, no, that would be helpful to me. So I did it. And I'm overhauling my websites. So then I will have website pages that I will be able to share with my students and out in social, so I can walk everyone through and give you links to anything that you may or may not need, all in one convenient place. Hey, what's up, kiddo? What can I do for you?
No, it's good. Wait.
All right, cool. All right, so hey, what's going on? Marilyn Roselle, Jan Sharkey, Bridget and Darren. What's going on? Lisa Garrett. Hey, Miss Lisa. Lenora Love. Kim Arnold. What's going on? Okay, I'm going to get right into the teaching once I'm done greeting everybody. I don't want to be rude. I definitely want to say hi. If you have any questions about any of the previous day's teachings, you can ask me while I'm live, but I just want to get through today's teachings, and then I'd be more than happy to do it. Hey, Michael Cohen family, what's going on? He says, #live morning sunshine from the mountaintop. What's up? Carol O'Neill, what's going on? Lenore, I already done that comment. Hey, Christine, what's going on? C. Pennell Jones is here. Miss Christine. Hey, what's up? And Sandy B. and Amy Lindblade and Mike Reinhardt, everybody's favorite blacksmith. Love it. Okay, so I greeted everybody. Let's get into the training proper, shall we? Okay. So the concept that I want to introduce to you today, some of my students may have heard this before, but some of you live and on the replay might not have, or it's been a minute if you've been with me for years. And this is so important that whenever I teach this, especially if someone's new, it's like you're shooting things through a lens I never thought to look through before. Wow, that changes my mind about how I'm going to approach things so I'm not so overwhelmed trying to balance my personal life along with my professional life as an entrepreneur, trying to balance, especially if I'm a solopreneur. Wow, I'm screwed, because at least for a while, I have to wear all of the hats. Sure, it sounds great to have independent contractors. There's a lot of hurdles to clear. You've got to get your proof of business. It does not matter if you have friends and relatives shopping from you. You want people out in the wild buying from you, or else it doesn't make sense, right? So the concept that I am going to insist that you guys follow through with, otherwise I don't know how you're doing yourselves the favor that you need to, and I don't understand how, whether you living a challenged life or not, if you have a very full plate, if you're very busy, what I want you to do is to realize you can't go it alone as a solopreneur, but you might not have very much money, if any, to invest into your business right now beyond whatever you've already done. And so how do we get you from being in a state of overwhelm personally and or professionally to, okay, I'm a solopreneur, but I'm going to be clearing those hurdles and I'm going to be covering my bases, whether I get the popularity plan or not, right? And that's not even going on sale again until next week, so no worries. I'm going to introduce, and to some of you reintroduce, a concept called Dream Team. Okay, a dream team equals success support. So today, I want to encourage you to think in terms of having a dream team, a success support system for you, especially because you're not just living your personal life. If you're watching this, you either already are an entrepreneur or you're someone who wants to go from entrepreneur and hobbyist to entrepreneur. So I don't want you to treat yourself like you're an army of one. And like we were discussing in yesterday's live session, if you missed it, holy moly, we were talking about how some of us, whether we realize it or not, we have a tendency to personal life, professional life, both. We nail ourselves to the cross, INRI, and we martyr ourselves. And meanwhile, it's like what you really need to say to yourself is get down off the cross. I need the wood. You know what I mean? So it's like, what do we do when we find ourselves stuck and we feel like martyrs, maybe legitimately so, because we have so much on our plate, both personally and professionally. And the older you are, the more learning curves you might have to take on. And you just feel like an army of one. Your husband, wife, significant other, where applicable, they're busy juggling all their flaming batons. There may be only so much you think they can do for you, but we're going to revisit this in a minute. I want you to think right now, if it takes like a village to raise a child, as it was once said, it also takes a village to support a healthy entrepreneur. That village is your dream team, right? And it needs to be, depending upon your facts and circumstances, how varied it is depends on your facts and circumstances. But that dream team isn't just like having one or two assistants. We're talking about a holistic approach, a varied approach to getting you the support that you need and that you're not getting. And in a lot of cases could be free, or if there is a cost, it really is cheap. So let's get into this. Your vibe attracts your tribe. I've said that before. If as an entrepreneur, especially, you don't have a healthy vibe, you need to get that fixed. You need to hitch your wagon to your dream team that does have a healthy vibe, right? You're going to get like a posse upgrade, if you will. We're going to get into this because while it's true that some, assistance that you need in your life to help you entrepreneur wise and maybe even personally, right? I'm not so much a garden variety life coach, but I would be remiss if I didn't kind of acknowledge that maybe there's personal development work that you need to do. And we discussed this a couple times back where some people were like, you're right, I may need a licensed talk therapist. I can get all woo-woo about talking about money blocks, but at the end of the day, if I'm ramming my head against the wall, or if I'm not pulling the trigger and sending emails to my list because I'm afraid of getting unsubscribes, then you know what? You are blocking your own blessings. And knowing a lot is really great. You can read all the books, you can take all the courses, but sometimes you need a professional to help you. That's something we talked about a couple days ago, and some people got really vulnerable on that live. So again, the first pinned link in the comments below is to the playlist where all of these replays are going to go, one every day for every day in January 2022. So listen, while it's definitely true that personal development work, some training and implementation as an entrepreneur can involve, one or both can involve solo soul searching, it is critical to have like a noble network to support you, to bounce things off of, or otherwise assist you in terms of like rebooting the operating system, perhaps of your personal life, if you need it, as well as your business. If, say, you didn't do everything you wanted to do business-wise in 2021, yeah, it's a new year, but that means nothing if you're not going to get a reboot and do the pivot that you need to do. Pull the triggers on the things that you need to pull the triggers on. Or you're going to get to December 31st, 2022 and be like, not much else changed. So look, getting at least some input and or assistance from others helps. And that's kind of your dream team, but we're going to break this down a little bit more. Sometimes those others will be professionals. Do you need to see doctors or go back and get an annual physical that you've been avoiding, right? Like you ain't got nothing if you don't have your life. You don't have much if you don't have your health, personally or professionally. What kind of ways are you blocking your blessings, not taking the best care of yourself? And especially if you're a solopreneur, how do you expect to pull off everything that's going on in your personal life, let alone everything that's going on in your business? How are you going to wear all the hats for as long as that's necessary until you grow your business where you can start reinvesting your net profits into getting paid assistants, paid independent contractors, paid services, instead of using freemium software, unlocking certain pieces of software so that you can do more. Like I'm not going to drop an affiliate link, but I love Later as like a content scheduler. A lot of my students know that and use it. I used to recommend Hootsuite back in the day. I don't now. I really prefer Later. The user interface is better and you really just don't have a million patches like you would have to have with Hootsuite. And some things don't even require much to get that content out there instead of push notification after push notification. But look, sometimes we need to invest in, or at least leverage for a cheap copay, perhaps, professionals to help us get right side up in terms of our physicality, right? So this isn't just perhaps you need a mental health care provider like I cited to earlier and like we've discussed other days. But like what doctors do you need to go back to? What physicals and checkups and lab work do you need to do? Maybe you need a lawyer for your business, so that you can finally get that like LLC or limited liability company thing going, or maybe an S Corp makes sense given your facts and circumstances. I'm not going to give out legal advice, but I will say there might be some legal issue spotting that you need to do because some of my students are intermediate to advanced. They're multiple 5 into 6 figures and above, but like there's been a shoe that's dropped for them in 2020, 2021, let's say, as they're arcing upwards. Maybe they need to get their legal compliance and tax down better. Maybe they need to optimize that kind of stuff, right? Maybe you need a mentor or mentors in your life. And if you can't afford them, maybe instead of watching the same reruns on TV or streaming reruns and goofy, nonsense on YouTube, maybe you need to go find, free coaching, like maybe folks like me and other folks, and get like mentors that way and like really invite us directly or indirectly into your dream team to help you up level, right? You don't know what you don't know. Life coaches, that could be, I'm a business coach. I'm not a more garden variety life coach. This material that I'm doing at times over the course of this month is as far into like life coaching proper that I would care to go, because I'm more of a content marketing, business marketing coach. But, maybe for your office, for your personal life, do you need organizing professionals? Do you need a bookkeeper, or is that something that you should budget for because you're not the best at bookkeeping, right? Please don't DIY your own taxes, especially once you're a true entrepreneur and you're getting money in on the regular. Like your days of DIYing your taxes need to be over. And maybe you already know that, and maybe you keep saying it. So maybe a CPA or a tax barrister. I do have a global audience, something like that to invest into, to bring into your dream team, right? Sometimes those others, though, let's talk about free now. What kind of free assistance can you get, or freemium assistance can you get to bring into your dream team to help you? Because especially if you're a solopreneur and or especially if you're a beginner and you have to wear all of the hats, you're going to collapse. You're going to collapse physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, where applicable. You're going to get burnt out. It could adversely affect your health. So yeah, some mental health care providers, doctors, other specialists, if you've got insurance, that's a copay. That's reasonable. And maybe we need to belly up to that kind of bar and get that done. Maybe that goes on to today's to-do list to, set up for yourself and other loved ones and dependents, if that's, your thing, and get all of those appointments set up for the doctor, the annual physical, the dentist. I want you to take care of yourselves. And those are dream team members of yours because they're getting your body and your mind like really like a well-oiled machine. It'll help you personally, but of course it's going to help you professionally too. Sometimes though, the others that should be brought into your dream team, or you double down on these pre-existing members of your dream team, are relatives, they're friends, they're spiritual leaders, they're members of free support groups that are out there. Maybe you need to go to Al-Anon. Maybe you need to go to something more hardcore like AA and Al-Anon. Maybe you go to an ADHD support group on Facebook in real life, both, right? It depends upon your facts and circumstances. But Facebook groups are many times free. If they're not attached as a bonus to like a paid thing, you can go there. There are in real life groups, Al-Anon and AA are two very common ones that are free. Maybe you need to go to these things or go back to these things to help you personally and professionally, right? But we're also going to talk about a couple other dream team members that maybe you've never thought of them this way. So if you're broke, if you're like, Stace, I'm super broke. Okay. I am super broke. I don't have any money. There are things like if you're in America, and there may be things like this depending upon where else you are looking. There are things like the SCORE and the SBA, the Small Business Association, that are free, could be in your county, could be in your region. This is again for US folks. That's a lot of you, but I have a big global audience too. And those are free to go to. They are there with donations, tax dollars, volunteers, and they have very experienced people there who can help to coach you in person if you want that. Or maybe they're doing Zooms, free classes to help you with very, very business basics in terms of legal issue spotting, tax issue spotting, basic entrepreneur 101 stuff. Those are very free resources that you can get that you might never have thought of before. And they do have like free different types of calculators, worksheets, checklists, all sorts of stuff on their website too. Free, free, free. And it's there for you if you need it, right? You're not lost and alone and in a corner sucking your thumb and no one's going to help you. And also, if you're super broke and you qualify for it through public assistance, because I have had thousands of students through the years, and I am telling you, even the paid students in the thousands now, because I'm going into my 9th year doing this, but I've had people pay for other people on their behalf. Like, here's a session with Stacey. I don't do one-on-ones anymore. And they would have their sister come to me or whatnot. And through public assistance, you could be surprised at what you can get in terms of, getting additional assistance over and above what you might get from an SBA or from a SCORE, SCORE. It's like the, I forget the whole acronym for SCORE, but it's like retired executives. Hold on, SCORE, because that's going to bother me. Retired. Okay. Executive. So we are looking at the whole acronym. It's the Service Corps of Retired Executives. Thank you. That makes me feel so much better now. Okay. So you can also get, through public assistance, psychiatric intervention if you need it. You can get healthcare if you need it, legal representation, depending upon where you live in the situation at hand. You can get, county by county throughout the United States, free legal representation to help you set up something or get out of a bad personal and or professional relationship. You're having tax issues. So if you're in the United States, go look up online your county bar association, because you might be able to get help that way on a sliding scale. And or if you can prove you're getting public assistance, you might be able to get help that way in ways that you might not have thought, right? If you don't ask, you don't get. If you don't look, then you don't know. Of course, you should also look up to see if you can get free mentors through not-for-profit organizations, volunteer groups that might be public, private, and or religious-based. So again, if you're not used to thinking about recruiting these types of people onto your dream team, and again, in many cases, they are free, and they can set you up with other sorts of assets that are free, again, through their websites and stuff. That really helps. If you don't ask, you don't get. If you don't look, you don't find. So I want you to start getting creative, especially if you're going to tell me, Stacey, I'm challenged. I can't do it. I remember one time a couple of months back, I sent an email out to my list. It was for a mini course of mine. The thing was like $47. And I said, for the price of a nice lunch, a nice lunch out, you could get a mini course that's evergreen. I don't take it away from you. And it has a corresponding Facebook group. So I remember that being in the email. And someone hit reply, couldn't have been nicer. And she went on this, she didn't go on an endless tale of woe. I don't want to make it seem like that. But she said, for myself and my family of 6, all we can afford to do is go to McDonald's once a month. And I'm not saying she's lying or exaggerating. Not going to say her name. She's a very nice lady. She could not have been nicer. She's like, so we can't afford anything. We're lucky we can do a trip for our family of 6 to McDonald's once a month to break up the monotony. And, but I will remain subscribed to you on YouTube because at least I'm learning and applying what I can, where I can. And I don't plan on being in this situation forever. So, here's the thing, that's the proper mindset. Even if you're ground down, I'll take what I can for free. But now I want you to think and brainstorm what's in my county, what's in my municipality, what's in my region that if I'm on public assistance, I can get, or what's on a sliding scale, or what is just free because tax dollars support it, like an SBA or a SCORE. You need to recruit these folks onto your dream team and go to their websites as applicable and leverage what you can, right? But I want you to get support and I want you to be in a good place mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, where applicable. And if you do have some spare cash, prioritize how you spend it so you can fold into dream team members that, sure, they may require payment for services rendered, but I want you to be very rigorous in your evaluation of where your money and time goes from now on. Are you watching things that don't serve you? Or are you going and finding at least free resources on Google, on YouTube, and actually learning? And then God forbid, okay, come on, you got to implement what you're doing, what you're learning, right? So are you spending money on what makes you happy for a few hours, like yet another outfit? Or do you take that money and you invest in a life coach? Or if you needed a psychiatrist, or if you need it, I don't do one-on-one things anymore. Okay. So, I'm not even saying for me, but who can you recruit more directly into your dream team to help you, right? That will keep you happy and healthy for far, far longer, not just personally, but professionally too. So the types of personalities for those that you get on the roster of your dream team, free or paid, positive people, healthy people, driven people, and successful people. And even if it's like a peer based group, you want people who, if they're not all or mostly successful, they are working on their way up. You don't want any, I'm going to cuss, you don't want any bitch boards, okay? If you're in a Facebook group that's a bitch board, get out. If you're in a Discord or some other group or bulletin board or like a Reddit, for those who know what that is, and it's like a cesspool, you need to get off, right? Okay? So here's something that I also want to say. If you've got a husband, wife, significant other, roommate, and you are doing everything or almost everything, I want you to remix the song of what's going on. Sit down with, I'll say your husband, read in anything else that fits in, even adult, kids, that are living with you, and say, you know what, I can't do everything. And you know that I'm trying to launch a business or get my business into profitability. Or if it's a profitable business, I'm trying to grow it. Here are some of my top goals so that you understand how serious I am. And going back to days 2 and 3, I believe, we go and we talk about how to set goals that are actual plans. And that you have benchmarks and mile markers, and you know who, what, where, when, why, and how, and having to do with that goal in a way that you get like literally a blueprint and a superstructure to achieve those goals professionally, yes, personally also, right? So when you are sitting down with people in your everyday life, say a husband, read in whatever's appropriate, and if you've got kids, sit them down too, recruit them onto the dream team of your success. If you were just yelling or bitching at people, you don't pick up your room, you don't help me, they've heard that before. You may be 100% right, they're going to be resistant. If you sit them down and you explain where you want to go inside of 2022, and you share your goals, and you say, especially like if you've got a man or men in your life, they are very analytical. Women can be too, but their brains go to analytical first. So if you're showing them like benchmarks you want to hit, if you have financial goals and you are taking it from December 31st and then going back week by week to show where you want to or need to hit to get there, and you show a man, we'll just say your husband, read in anything else that's appropriate. You show them that you're serious and that you are very, very, um, you are very fine grain about what you set up, and you've real believable goals and our plans too. And then you say, and this is how it will benefit our household when I'm making more money and I have more profits. Sure, I can reinvest about 25% of my net profits back into the business because I don't want to have all the hats on. It'll allow me to have more time to spend with you or all of you. We can do things more too as a unit. Maybe you're saving up for Disneyland or Disney World for your kid or kids, but you say to them, there's a new proverbial sheriff in town. You're on my team and you're part of my dream team, and I can't really succeed without you. So we'll say husband, read in whatever's appropriate. If you're not doing anything, or you think that by helping me out, even around the house, helping me out with housework is picking up your feet while I'm running by with the vacuum, how am I going to get to all these goals, especially if I don't have much, if any, money beyond whatever else I've already got invested into my business? Let's say we can't afford to hire a cleaner. If you can afford to hire a cleaner in a fiscally responsible way, you need to do that. And for every student, it's like, I can't afford that. There's some that are going, I know. And maybe my husband, wife, significant other told me I can go get one. And I just don't. Get down off the cross because you need the wood, right? You need it. It'll benefit you personally. It'll definitely benefit you professionally, because even if it just frees up an extra hour a week that you can plow back into your business that you didn't have before, that's important. What if you can't afford a housekeeper or a cleaning service? Because some can, some can't. Having your husband, wife, significant other, roommate, whatever, take on, the responsibilities that they can take on. If you show them why they need to take stuff off the plate and you get analytical and fine grained and you show them, you are more likely to get buy-in, especially if you're recruiting them to be part of your family team, right? It's not us versus them, and you don't do things for me because you get more flies with honey than vinegar. Plus they'll think that it's different this time if they've heard you before, and or you've been stuck in entrepreneur status, or your business just isn't persistently and consistently profitable, right? If you have been running one. So, they're going to feel like more ready to double down and be members of your dream team to help around the house, to help run chores outside of the house, to thin the herd of all of your responsibilities. And with kids, I really hate to tell you how many people, if they're not downright infantilizing their children, they are, especially if, God help you, they're adults or spit and they're about to be adults, they should be cleaning their room. They should be doing their laundry. They should be responsible for, if they've got pets, their own pets. Okay. they should be responsible for taking a room or a zone in the house that they're not just living in and taking care of that too. Like my son has to keep his room clean and he has to keep the bathroom in the hallway just outside his bathroom clean. He's 13. He can run the washer and the dryer. Cold water gentle cycle. You can throw everything in. Perfect's the enemy of done. And there you go. At 13, they can handle it. Unless they are very much challenged, differently abled. But even then, you know how many times I've had people say one or more of my children are challenged and or differently abled. And I go, okay, but they're older, right? They may not be little tiny babies. And so I say to them, so when was the last time you sat down with their healthcare provider team to see what is age appropriate and fact and circumstance appropriate for them to do? Because even if it's just folding and putting away their clothes, is that something they can do? Are they capable of, you know, loading and or emptying a dishwasher? Maybe you need to be there, but like, because a lot of times they're getting news that they didn't expect that they would hear. Okay. Even if their kid is high functioning autistic, it's amazing what they can do. Or even if their kid is wheelchair bound, they've been feeling bad, they've been feeling sorry, but get down off the cross, martyr mama or papa or parent, because we need the wood and those kids need to help you out, because every 5, 10, 15 minutes that anybody can spare you while learning life skills that they're only going to be responsible for later on when they grow up and fly the nest, for those that can, right? That's going to help get back end you into having a half an hour, 2 hours that you can get. And that's free. That's free. People helping. I have had people say, my dad likes to cut lawns and he doesn't mind throwing the lawnmower in the back of his truck and mowing my lawn because I'd have to do it. I'm a single mom. Dad's part of your dream team. Sit down, do your little presentation, and it costs him nothing but sweat equity. He'll come. Your brother can come and fix stuff. They'll come. Your sister can come and be the auntie and take kids, over her house for, to take them to the zoo or take them for the weekend. Free babysitting. Hooray. You can do babysitting collectives. If you're homeschooling, you can do homeschool collectives so that, maybe there's a day you take everybody, but then there's a day that somebody else takes everybody. That's still members of your dream team. They are helping you to free up time and bandwidth so that you can actually be a healthier person, but also a more successful entrepreneur. Okay. So just delegating is a great way to your pre-existing people, is a great way to get help. How about getting your kids on a sports team? I know you want to attend the games, but you don't have to be there for every practice, do you? And if your kid can't take the school bus, home from the after school activity, if we're driving kids back and forth to school so they don't have to take the school bus, you'd probably free up a half an hour to even up to 2 hours of your time by not doing that. Let your tax dollars be at work. If for whatever reason you are like, no, absolutely not, can your husband, wife, significant other at least drop them off on the way to work? Can grandma or auntie sweep by and drop them off on their way to and from your house or other chores? If your kids are on a team, can you talk to the other parents and say, hey, let's carpool for the non-crazy essential things? I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ways. Once you start thinking about free and then where applicable cheap and for pay, whatever's appropriate for your facts and circumstances, you start getting very real about not having to DIY more than you need to. You start getting creative about what free resources are out there for you. IRL or in real life or online or both. You start going, hey, I have a dream team of people who can support me directly and indirectly, both whoever's under my roof, whoever is in my neighborhood, and whomever I can find online. So if you're stumped on you're brainstorming and you're stumped on how to find dream team members, I always like using the Frank's formula for leads and for possibilities. So people who are friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kids' parents, spousal connections. And I like to throw in coworkers, past and or present, because some of you are working other jobs as side hustles. So for every person who's in your immediate circle, they have Franks too. So if you need to hang out with more positive people or people who want to like co-work with you or do like even Pomodoro sessions, if you don't know what those are, I'll spell out the word. You can look it up. Pomodoro, Pomodoro sessions. You can do that with folks in real life. They even have them on YouTube, live ones, recorded ones. That might help you kind of like dream team-esque to like sit down and concentrate, in the moment. I want you to just think of recruiting people who can help you, or you can make it a two-way street and help them and they help you. If you've got anyone draining you who won't help, to the extent that you can and you should, you need to start like putting yourself in the witness protection program and go find other people, maybe network and meet the Franks of your Franks, right? To go meet new people, work in tandem with other people, right? So I want you brainstorming so that you're not stuck in a stagnant victim mode. And I want you to think about recruiting your friends and loved ones, etc., into a supportive dream team that can help you both personally and professionally. So hopefully this makes sense. Let me look through the comments here. So Bridget says, I love Later. I know. And we were both using, when we first met, we were both using Hootsuite, but I already knew the UI or the user interface sucked. And they just have a hard time. I had too many issues publishing to Instagram using Hootsuite, when years ago I really didn't. Later is much better. I know some people use Planoly, but I like Later as a more full, like Later's the Hootsuite of today for those that know what Hootsuite is. So Bridget says, I'm looking for a bookkeeper and we are hiring a cleaning service for the shop. Washing windows is not part of my job description. It is not. And you guys are, doing better and better and better. Oh, Marilyn Roselle, I already said hi to you. I wanted to say, but hi again. Hi, Marissa Parsons. Hi, Carol O'Neill. Okay, so, and hi, the Speckled Moon. Bye, Susie B is here. Okay, so hello, Miss Marissa. Oh, by the way, if you find this at all useful, even just some of these suggestions falling under the umbrella of Dream Team, and you haven't done it already, please give this video a big thumbs up. So Carol says, I truly believe my husband and I are having such a hard time recovering from pneumonia because we are so worn out from nonstop working. I understand that. Let me read through all the other comments, Carol, and I'll circle back to you. I do see you put down a few, and that's cool. And if anybody else has any questions, hashtag live, hashtag replay. That helps me see who's showing up when, especially on the replay. And I will engage back with you, especially within the first 24 hours. If you have any questions, you have any comments or observations, please put them in the comments section below. Not just now while we're live, but also on the replay, because within a day's time, I will look back and I will comment back, answer your questions, whatnot. So I bet you, Carol, it's hard because especially if both of you got clocked by pneumonia, that's hard. And the older we are, it might be the case that we don't bounce back as fast as we would like to. Oh, now see, SBA and SCORE. Susie B knows what's down. She says, my local SBA office and SCORE chapter both have a lot of free services for small businesses. I'm going to utilize them in 2022 as I'm ready to level up this year. Good girl. And I recommend people there, especially if they are like, I have no money for coaching. Like, I love you on YouTube, but my facts and circumstances are blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I respect that. I do. I don't think you're lying or exaggerating, but you still can't just stay stuck marinating in misery. And you can't, you've got to do something. And there are free and also in some cases super cheap to copay level things that you can do that can help you. So Carol O'Neill says, to piggyback on her and her husband having a hard time with pneumonia and hard getting over it and nonstop working, she goes, absolutely looking and hiring out what can help me cut out the craziness. Yup. And she goes on to say, I'm hiring my granddaughter to help me with tech. Good girl. Creating videos, reels, etc. She's very young, but she definitely has a different point of view too. Win-win. I agree. Bridget Upcycle Lawson says, I hadn't realized how supportive my mother-in-law was until she hurt herself, but she didn't want to tell me or Darren, that's Bridget's husband, until after our live show last week. She's okay and it wasn't life-threatening. Well, thank God it wasn't. On down by Tiffany's here. Okay. So Heather says our 15 and 10-year-old help us out at IRL or in real life events and make commissions based on sales of the show. I think that that's fair. Ooh, Heather says, I never heard of SCORE. Definitely going to check it out. So I know you're in the US, Heather. You want to look up SCORE, and you also want to look up SBA because you don't often have both of those chapters in the same municipality or too close to each other, but within a county or a region, you might luck out. So Susie B says, my kids were little. My friends and I did a casserole swap. It was a little work up front. I'm guessing to arrange. But when it was done, I had a week's worth of meal. Oh, and to do it all. Yeah, duh. But when it was done, I had a week's worth of meals done. So it was a huge time saver. And I love that because that's another way of recruiting in friends as part of your dream team. And definitely it's not all about you, right? It's not all about me. But like we work out. So when your husband, wife, significant other, roommate, what can we do so that we're on the same team to help each other out, to make things more equitable in our arrangement, our relationship, our marriage, whatever. And the same thing with kids. We're a family team. We need to work together. And sometimes recruiting them into your business, your kids, your relatives, whatever, like Heather is talking about, and like Carol's talking about, sometimes we can get those kids in who will work for free, who will work for cheap, right? Who will be happy to have the experience as a free internship because they can't get one anywhere. Or maybe with COVID, they don't feel comfortable going elsewhere, but they trust going to your house, or you can throw them things remotely and they're fine. Make it a win-win. And you don't necessarily have to pay people, or if you do, it's reasonable, right? So SBA and SCORE are free resources. Of course, Google and YouTube are free resources, right? You can get into content marketing for conversions. That's a Facebook group of mine. That can be a free resource. But whether it is friends and neighbors helping each other with like casserole swaps, whether it is, you run chores for them, they run chores for you. It's, oh gosh, I'm having a senior moment. Let's see. Just making sure I didn't miss anybody either. Marilyn Roselle says, if your state has a community action program, they have business programs, resources that help people with low income that are free. That's what I'm saying. Like carpools. That was the word I was looking for. I had a senior moment. My apologies. Carpools. But Marilyn's right. So on top of an SBA, on top of a SCORE chapter or an SBA chapter, and they definitely have websites anyway, you could have other things like community action programs. Like I said, not-for-profit, volunteer organizations, things of that nature that will help low-income to challenged people. Do you get it for free because you're on public assistance? Do you fill out paperwork and show stuff? Do you get a grant, right? Like there are grants out there too, especially if you're a solopreneur and you're female or you identify as female. There's all sorts of stuff that you can get. You just have to look. And so introducing the dream team concept to you, even if you're like, Stacey, I'm the most challenged and my family of six can only go to McDonald's once a month and we have to scrimp and save. However will we make it? This is, friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kids, parents, spousal connections, coworkers, past and or present. What kind of two-way streets? Babysit swaps, homeschooling swaps, casserole swaps, chore running swaps, gosh, I mean, having the kids really fend for themselves more. And again, if you're like, but you don't understand our facts and circumstances, guess who does? Their pediatrician or their, healthcare provider team, depending upon how challenged and or differently abled they are. you will be surprised what your kids should be able to do or what you can slowly train them into doing. And if your kids don't have any challenges, they are not differently abled, or it's like mild, 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 you know what? Stop infantilizing them, please, because they should be, that'll free up your time not to do it all for them, right? And perfect's the enemy of done. If they make the bed and you can't bounce a quarter on it, who cares? Perfect's the enemy of done. As long as they hang up everything in their closet, if they don't channel the friggin' home edit and everything's hung in a freaking rainbow, it's okay. You know what I mean? Just be happy that they are conquering the life skills and don't pay them allowance. These are life skills. God forbid you die tomorrow and they have to figure that out. You're not going to be able to float down from heaven and pay them allowance. Nobody pays you an allowance to make your bed, right? So have that husband, wife, significant other, roommate, whatever, help you. If you have relatives, like some of you have mothers that just want to come and clean your house, let them complain, but let them clean. That's still part of a dream team. And if they see you actually utilizing the time that they're freeing up, and they see week by week, you're getting more social followers, more people on your email list, and more sales, your husband, wife, significant other, roommate, relatives, friends, neighbors, they're going to be like so proud of you, and they're going to be more inclined to help you. Or if you're in any of these swaps and they keep going, they're going to be like, wow, this is very satisfying for me because it's helping me, or the carpools because it's helping me too. Or the babysitting swaps, or the co-op, the homeschooling co-op swaps. But I also feel really proud for my friend, relative, neighbor, you know what I mean? So when people like to channel Metalbeard from the friggin' Lego movie and tell me their tale of woe, it's not that I don't care, but I'm not the life coach. Well, I'm not really a life coach. I'm a business coach. This is kind of life coachy today, especially. Some days in the 31 days are not like this at all. But when you're telling me tale of woe, my heart might go pitter patter for you, and I do care. But I'm the type of coach that's like, okay, despite that, what can we do? Despite that, what can we edit out, delegate out? You're on public assistance. I'm sorry to hear that. However, on the flip side, look this up. You're not on public assistance, but it's kind of tight right now. Then you know what? SCORE can help you. SBA can help you. What other sort of free groups in real life, Zoom or whatever, are there out there that will help you to grow, that will help you brainstorm, that will help you copy edit, that will help you tweak, and you help them the same way? I'm not saying you take, you give. So thank you for that, Marilyn. I love that. Heidi says, my almost 12-year-old has been amazing since we talked this out last year. Good. You're an implementation beast, Heidi. I'm very proud of you. She helps a ton with kitchen duties, dishes, and making some dinners, her own laundry and room, and other little chores. Getting my 10-year-old to help is sometimes more work, but I'm trying to be diligent because, like you said, life skills, she needs to know how to take care of herself in an age-appropriate manner. And of course, she's a year younger, so the maturity level, this, Heidi. It's not like you don't have, you know this, but just for other people where their kids are a little younger, like keep in mind, it is age appropriate. Your pediatrician is going to be the best guess if you're like, oh, I just can't make this decision. Or you and your husband, wife, significant other, are like at odds with how much those kids can really do. The neutral tiebreaker to me is the pediatrician. Or if there's a team of healthcare providers, you do a conference call or something, or you check in with the one or two people that are steering the boat the most. Right. So these are just different ways to look at, depending upon your facts and circumstances, how you get people onto your dream team. In a lot of ways free, in other ways cheap. And for those of you who can, we already had somebody say, I know I need to hire a cleaning person. I know I do, and I can do it. It's fiscally responsible. I've just not gotten around to it. It's on the to-do list, right? So for those that do like the popularity plan, that will be for February, launched next week. Cart open Monday of next week, cart closed Friday next week. And guess what? For $37, you can have 4 emails done for you for February, one assigned every week. You could have 15 social media graphics that they're kind of neutral-esque. You don't have to edit them if you're up to your eyeballs. You should be able to use them. And 15 corresponding social media graphics. It's done with you sort of stuff, if you will. And my students will easily, who have used the popularity plan, and is quite a few aficionados, they will tell you that it can easily save at least an hour, if not 2 to 3, depending on how much they didn't like writing, depending on how like out of it they were. This gets them higher open rates on emails. This gets them more replies back. It can get them sales, and it can definitely grow their social. And they've learned through a lot of the way these templates go that even in content they create themselves outside of this for the month of February, every piece of content, you have to remind everybody that you're a business owner, because they might be finding you for the first time through that piece of content. You're a business owner whose business does X for Y type of person so that they can get Z type of result. So I often joke around, you can do a great coffee day post, and they're like, yeah, and you can optimize it for coffee day, and they'll find it and be like, yeah, sister, rock on, bro. Happy coffee day. And they leave, and they never navigate over to your, say, bio on Instagram, or your bio or your profile on TikTok or whatever. So it's like, that's a random act of content if you're not more strategic. I dare say the captions that I write, because I write the captions, the emails myself. I have a designer. Lord in heaven knows that I do, because I had to delegate that out to her. Back in 2019, I started to actually grow my team. Now, I had a dream team. I certainly never bothered to do my own taxes. Oh, hell no. And once I became an entrepreneur many years ago, I didn't start coaching until like 8-9 years later, or for the last 8-9 years. But when I was an entrepreneur years ago, no way in hell was I doing my own taxes, right? No way in hell was I trying to do everything myself. Okay. And I'm lucky my husband does pull his fair share and will do extra. So I can delegate a lot out to him for free. And I have delegated to our son, and that saves me a couple hours of time a week. Not to mention the fact, sorry, some of your friends get driven to school. Boop, off to the bus you go. That'll save me an hour round trip to 2 hours round trip a day. I'm sorry. So, hopefully this has helped you guys. Yeah, so Heidi says, I can't tell you how many times I see embroidery designers have pity me say, oh, ew. They take to social media with all their personal drama and why they currently need money. And she says, I can't believe how many people throw money at these businesses. It's weird to me. And Carol says, I've seen this one too. Heidi says, I love supporting small businesses. I love to lift up another business owner, but I don't love that icky feeling that I get from these posts. And Carol says, agreed. So these are people who don't know how to optimize to drive traffic to their business to do more business. And I think the people that they tend to get buying from them when these things work, okay, because I'm not really sure how you know for sure that they're getting sales. Because even if they come back and say, thanks everybody for supporting me, for all you know, they're saving face. So unless you see their business sheets and their tax returns, I'm not sure they're really getting much, if any, money. And I think the people that kind of like, I don't know, fall for that sort of thing, they're also the type of people who will happily donate money to charity and Kickstarters. And it's not a really good plan, because most people need to run their businesses like actual businesses. So you're more of a hobbyist, whether you realized it or not, if you're not doing at least 2 income producing promotions a month. Could be a sale, like a site-wide sale, could be a coupon, could be a BOGO, could be free shipping over a certain amount. But income producing events aren't just those, because depending upon your business model, you're not going to run a sale, maybe ever. Like coaches and course creators, I don't love sales for your stuff. You don't see a lot of people doing that when they're big and they're on their own. They might have an extra bonus that they'll throw in for that sort of thing. I've done that, but I don't go, hey, my $997 course, save 10% off. That's not what you see a lot of coaches do, because that doesn't really fit the corporate culture, and it can damage their business model. But if you're a products-based business, handmade or not, sales and coupons and promotions like that are very heavy duty part of the culture for the buyer and the seller. It's part of that ecosystem. So there you just need to make sure that your prices are high enough so that you can discount low enough, often enough. So I'm not saying sales are bad. It depends upon the business model that you run. If you are a doctor or some sort of service provider, having a sale doesn't really make sense to you. But you could promote things that are free, or you'll throw in like an extra cleaning kit, if you come and you get like, a treatment, or you're running a tanning salon, instead of like deep dish discounting your prices, if you're more service based, it's like, how about a free, I don't know, suntan lotion container a month if you're part of our regular subscriber club. I don't know. Depending upon the business model, you're going to be running sales differently. When people are whining and crying like this, their business isn't working. And that's why they're having pity me sales, right? And it's just gross. And it's women that do it. I don't think I've ever seen or heard of a man doing it. Men won't debase themselves like that. They're actually running their business like a business, running a minimum of 2 sales a month and training up their email list and their social following that, yeah, you're going to get sold to. My multiple 5 to 6 figure clients, whether they came to me that way and they got bigger, or they came to me that way, a lot of them in 2017, 18, 19, and then yes, in the pandemic and beyond, if you came to me barely profitable and I showed you, you actually have to sell more and make more offers and not less, they end up training up their audience right. They might get some unsubscribes in the beginning. The audience wasn't used to that, or they forgot who they even were. They weren't marketing to them on social and or by emails. But then sooner or later, guess what? After week 2-ish, the worst is over, and you should be growing your email list more than you're ever getting unsubscribes. If you're marketing enough to drive traffic to your business so that sooner or later you're doing more business. My intermediate students will run 3 sales or income-based promotions a month, and my advanced will do 4. Maybe you have some merch on top of your products. Melissa Pickle from Metals and Pieces has merch that she sells to her community. She makes money from that. She also can drive people to an affiliate link for something and make a percentage off that for a tool that she uses or something like that. So that's another income-based, type of income stream. That isn't a sale because that's not your product to sell. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I differentiate between sales, which is great for a lot of business models, and then income producing event. So as a coach, 1 week I might be cart open, cart closed on a mini course that I'm selling. Then the next week it might be a digital download product only that I'm selling, like the popularity plan. We have our monthly packs, right? Then the next week, maybe I'm driving traffic to an affiliate link, like for Flick.tech, which a lot of you know and love because I introduced you to it, right? That is like an unfair advantage in terms of hashtag research. Great for Instagram, but you can also reverse engineer to use it for TikTok and Twitter optimization too. And I would be remiss if I didn't go Twitter. Oh, Twitter, cesspool. But some of you, your ideal customers are on there. So Heidi said, in California, we had to pay for high school buses since 1994, my junior year of high school. So I'm glad I homeschool. Yes, you are. And Bridget says, if you need money that bad, don't start a GoFundMe page. Or are you saying do start a GoFundMe page, Bridget? But that's my thing. If you're desperate, do a GoFundMe page. Don't be whining to your people, because you know what that does? For any sales that they get, any pity sales that they get, how many people are like, I'm never buying from this business owner. They're Calamity Jane. It's a turnoff. How many people say, Twitter says, Bridget, how many people say, how good could that business be if they're running a pity sale? You want to project strength, and it's not about you. More people, the more popular, the more networkable people in life, they listen more than they speak, right? like I'm a coach, I sit there and talk. That's a different business model. But, the people who magnetize a lot of folks to them, sure, they're human, they'll share, but they're more interested in the other person and their problems. So, as any of my Funnel Dynasty students know, we're really not about ourselves, except for maybe a little once a week from week to week. We do a behind the scenes or, meet the owner because people do want to buy from those that they know, like, and trust. But that's about it. Like, if you're on your about page and you're going on and on about you and your awesome family, people already got off on a website. They just want to know why you're doing this, who you're doing this for, what result can they get from it, and like how you're uniquely qualified to serve them, right? That's what they really care about. As they get repeated exposures to you, they might get to know about you and your family from your once a week, like Maker Monday, love you, honey, or meet the owner behind the scenes kind of post. But otherwise, it's never about you. It's always about your ideal customer, their main pain point, what they're passionate about, talking shop with them with content that educates them, entertains them, inspires them, or a fusion blend of those things. It should never be crying pity, you need money, because that means your business sucks. Heidi says, I don't mind being real with my customers, like talking about normal daily struggles that they relate to, but making it a little funny, like the never ending story of laundry. And that's something that's very relatable because, again, it's not about Heidi so much as it is bringing it back to them and closing that loop and being like, we all know how it is. I'm here for it and I'm here for you. And they go, oh, that increases rapport. She understands me and or she is me. Me is dull, 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 unless you make it ultimately about them, them, them. So Heidi says, but they don't want to hear about other crap. I don't need to look perfect, but I can be relatable. It's the relatability because, again, people buy from those that they know, like, and trust. So they need to know a little bit about you. That's why I say don't make your profile icons like your logo. I know, mind blown. It needs to be a picture of you, good eye contact, the whites of your eyes, a smile, and, really it should be your face so they see as much of you as possible. Not a picture of you from a mile away. I know what you're doing there. Because people don't want to buy from a logo. Gen Z and Gen Y, especially young at heart Gen Xers, if they are against corporate America, they don't want something else that's trying to become corporate America Junior. They want to see the business owner. They want to really know, like, and trust that business owner. La la la. Carol says, I love that your husband comes in to say goodbye each day and that you make the time to say, have a great day. There's relatability. Thank you. And then Heidi goes to Carol, right? So cute. Oh, I'll have to tell my husband here. I'm going to take a screenshot really quickly. Did I get it? Oh, did I get it? Let's see. I want to show him the chat. All right. There, I think I got it. Let me see. So anyway, does anybody have any sort of questions about what I've taught today? It's introducing, or to some of you, reintroducing the concept of a dream team and, how you can make it actionable, whether you have no money and you're on public assistance, you're living paycheck to paycheck. It ain't that bad, but Stacey, you got me. I can leverage a lot of the people that are already in my life, put aside my pride, and get people to pull their fair share, to pull their weight. I don't want to infantilize family and friends, and I don't want to discourage people from, two-way streets. We're helping each other. I'll help you live your dream personally and or professionally. You help me live mine. That's good in any sort of marriage, relationship, friendship, right? Young at heart Gen Xers, I love that. Thank you. And the young at heart Gen Xers, Jen Sharkey, are coming on board more and more and more right now. They were before 2020, but then once you had lockdown, a lot of people were with their family, their kids, grandkids were applicable. And the Gen X contingency on TikTok alone skyrocketed. Like I said, I think earlier today, 52% of all users as of what? Late last year were adults, and the numbers have only climbed. So if you've been reticent or not so eager to get on TikTok, you really need to get on it. Heidi says, I totally appreciate this training. Today I was up before my alarm. You go. I'm doing the thing and it's feeling great. And I know that you're seeing results, Heidi. So I'm very proud of you. I mean it. Carol said, I would not have thought of a dream team until I started the 31 days of coaching. I'm going to have to find jobs for the rest of my family. But you know what, Carol? Like, that's fair. Okay. And I know you guys are sick. You can leverage that, to kind of get people to take action, but you shouldn't even have to do that. It's not even just, it's a new sheriff in town, because then everyone runs. But like, you show them, these are my goals for my business. And then, a few personal goals too. I'm just not a life coach here. I'm a business coach. Okay. So you show them your goals. You reverse engineer, especially your ideal money goals. And you go, how do I do this if I don't even have an hour a day? Or I'm drained and depleted because I'm doing stuff that I know, in all fairness, husband, wife, significant other, roommate, age appropriate kids, independence, you should do in whole or in part for yourself. It is healthier for them, consciously and or subconsciously, short term and long term. And it is way healthier for you. Okay. So, and then for those of you, and I know that there are some live and on the replay that will see this, if you've been putting off reinvesting back into your business, you need to stop doing that. So it's not just, can I hire a housekeeper or keep up the cleaning service? I've had students even go, I have someone coming once a month. You know what? It is fiscally responsible given my facts and circumstances. Now it's every week. And my kids, if they have any, need to do their age appropriate stuff too. But for those of you who are not just profitable, but you're at multiple 5-figure to 6 figures in sales, and you've been now, I want you to really look at your operating costs. And I want you to say, am I at a point? And especially if you're multiple 5 to 6 figures, you're at that point where, if not beforehand, I need to start hiring and delegating out for pay as well. Independent contractors can be less expensive depending upon the volume of times that you use them. In the beginning, you might just only leverage them. But eventually, you need to get people who part-time to full-time are working for you. I had to bite the bullet in fall of 2019. And I had to get a video editor. I couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't do it for courses, for YouTube, for, sales page videos. I just couldn't do it anymore. And because I work this business full time, it's not a side hustle for me. I knew it wasn't going to be like something I'm going to pay $500 a month for. And some of my students know we gave Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill like a lot of loans. At one point, it was $120,000 on credit cards. $30,000 for this machine, $25,000 for that machine, $5,000 for this equipment. It's ridiculous. And then putting inconvenience checks into the bank account for a little while to make payroll. And so, I'm down to like half that amount because I've had to help pay it down and off because they've outgrown their location and they need another location to go to. And the landlord won't sell. So, and then it turns out the municipality's like, it's a good thing they didn't sell because you couldn't do anything else with that property. So you would have bought something and it wouldn't have really been your solutions. We're like, oh, so, so now they have to plow money into that. So they've been keeping up with the minimums, but I've been paying down the principal because it's a family business too. So, so getting back to me is dull. I'm telling you the story for a reason, because for those people who are like, well, you don't understand, Stacey, that's so much of my profit. I don't understand. I'm going to have to pay $1,500, $2,000 or more a month out of my net profit. Yes, I get it. It'd be great for me to delegate to a bookkeeper. It'd be great for me to delegate to a video editor. It'd be great for me to delegate to a designer, right? And I got those things into the mix in the fall of 2019. And it hurt like hell because I still had at that point, oh my God, I must have had $85,000 to pay down. Now I'm to like 60. Because after all, the legal compliance and tax and overhead comes out. I have to cover my stuff. And then I'm just plowing in after reinvesting back into my business. I'm plowing into paying down and off those cards. Right. So it was like ripping a rib out of my side to do that. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is, again, me is dull, dull, dull. For those of you watching live and on the replay who are standing on the precipice of doing that, and you have to get yourself down off the cross, we need the wood. And either you don't have a family, so that's not even your issue, or you could even say, Stacey, I actually had a dream team going and I didn't even realize that. Or I can get some people to start pulling their weight and be part of a true dream team. And probably that'll be fine, but that's not going to solve my problem. I have to pull out $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, or more to independent contractors, part-time employees, full-time employees. What if I have to lay them off? What if I go through a bad month? I'm scared. Or maybe I'm not borrowing trouble. It'll probably work out, especially if I stay on top of things. But my God, that means I have to slow down on debt repayment, or I have to slow down on other things because I am reinvesting back into my business. I know I had to slow down to speed up. And it's going to be a little bit of time to get the learning curve out and to be used to working with a team and delegating and managing. That is a different set of skills too, if you've not had them before. In my case, I was lucky. I used to be a senior managing associate at a boutique law firm in Westchester County. So I had a couple years of experience within real life management. And that's more of a pain in the butt than online usually, promise you. But anyway, so I've been there is the whole point. And I know that some people need to hear that message today. You have to pay to get people into your dream team, but you cannot scale and grow to an advanced level, get to six figures if you haven't, go to multiple six figures and beyond, trying to do it all yourself. As much as I wish I could make that last 60K go away next month or in a business quarter, you know what, folks? That's fine. I need Barney, I need Galilee, and I need my bookkeeper. I cannot do it all anymore because this is a full-time hustle, even with all of that. And I know where I'm going to go. I plan out benchmarks. As I get down to X amount of debt, then I'm going to get a customer service rep and an admin. I'm going to get a tech person. You know, I have someone that I can use from time to time, but I want to get a tech person full time. I think that would just be better for me. And I know it would be better for everyone else instead of me having to handle that. And I've been pretty good now that I'm better and I'm not sick every 2 seconds. I've been pretty good about it, but I know that that's not a place for me to be at. And it's not a place for you to be out either. Anything that you're not good at, you need to delegate right away. A designer was a must for me. I'm slightly colorblind. It's the truth. So I had no business. Plus, you did not want my stick figure crap that I would crank out in Canva. Lord help us all. And then the video editor, for anything that is very time consuming that you could be good at, you need to hire somebody to free up that time. I didn't really suck at editing my YouTube videos. It is just time consuming, especially uploading them. I'm not uploading them, but getting them exported to MP4 format. I'm in upstate New York. The connection is like sludge even when you pay to boost it. You know what, Barney? You take this on full time. Thank you very much. Right? So if you hate it, you're no good at it. It's super time consuming. Even if you're good at it, it needs to be delegated out. And then if it's easily done by someone else, like I don't need to sit there and, process a refund, or my digital download only stuff is for final sale, but I don't need to sit there and reset someone's password. Like no one else could do that better than me. Are you kidding me? Of course, getting a tech support person and customer service are next on my list, slash an admin next on my list. But I got to get down another 20G before I do that. because I know my personal and professional facts and circumstances. Yes, I'm conservative, but it's saved our butts. But I have a dream team, and it wasn't always free. It hasn't been free for years. And all I know is I never could have scaled and grown to the next level that I'm at if I didn't have that. So anybody who needs to hear that today, I want you to hear that today. So really quickly, Heidi said, I told my older daughter I will pay her to help me with TikTok and editing YouTube videos. My younger daughter is going to help me by doing some of the videos like showcasing products, family biz. And Michael says, I'll listen and sleep on it. Thanks again, Stacey. You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up now. I went way over. I over delivered. Okay, so make sure that you join the Popularity Plan Facebook group on Facebook. It is the Popularity Plan on Facebook, especially if you're already a Popularity Plan customer. You guys asked for it, get on in there. Content Marketing for Conversions is another Facebook group that I have that's free. And in the files section, there's 2 freebies for you there. So if you're not in Content Marketing for Conversions, make sure you get in there. Those are free resources, right? And if you get the Popularity Plan, cart will open on Monday of next week, okay? And I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Oops. Am I still live? It says no. Okay, there we go. End stream.